Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Saturday, May the 19th, and welcome to our video commentary. Well, today is May 19th, and this is an important date in Cuban history. It was on this date, May 19th, 1895, that Jose Marti was killed in a confrontation with Spanish forces. This was at the time that Cuba was fighting for its independence. This is about 3 years before the United States got involved in the Spanish-American War. That was, of course, because of the Maine. Remember the Maine? Well, this is about 3 years before. For much of the second half of the 19th century, Cubans had been fighting for their independence, and it had been a very frustrating effort because they were never quite able to win the big battle, if you will, against the Spaniards. And for years and years and years, the effort was extremely frustrating. And Jose Marti became, in many ways, the face of that movement. Jose Marti was born in 1853. He was a man of letters. He was not a military man like, let's say, George Washington, who was actually trained as a soldier. He was more of an intellectual, a man of letters, a man of poetry. And so he tried to do his best within those talents to promote Cuban independence. Today, he's regarded as one of the great authors, one of the great personalities of Spanish literature, and his poetry and his books are part of Spanish literature when most students in Latin America read about the great authors of Spanish literature. The next big day is May 20th. May 20th was the day that Cuba officially became an independent country. After the Spanish-American War, independence for Cuba began on May 20th, 1902. There was an election, and the first elected president of Cuba, a man by the name of Tomás Estrada Palma, became the first president of Cuba. I have a little reference about this. My grandmother, who was just a little girl at the time in 1902, told me many, many times about her memories of that day, and how, this is my father's mother, and how she remembered that day as a little girl, and all the windows, all the Cuban flags in the windows, and all the parades and all the celebrations. It had been, as I say, a long struggle to obtain independence for much of the second half of the 19th century, and it finally ended on May 20th, 1902. So we remember a couple of important dates in Cuban history. It's interesting because both sides, the communists in Cuba, as well as those of us in the Cuban American community in the United States, both sides celebrate these 2 days. We, of course, remember Jose Marti for his works and his great contributions to independence, and we remember May 20th as the day that Cuba finally joined, if you will, the community of nations as an independent country. I have a lot about this, by the way, in my blog, as well as my Facebook political page. I'll have some things about this on Twitter and so on. So if you're really interested in getting more details, check out some of those stories. I also have a great interview that we did 3 years ago with Professor Alfredo Lopez. He wrote a great book about Jose Marti. It's the only book in English that has been written about Jose Marti, and it's a great biography. And if you get a chance, get that book, particularly if you're Cuban American. It's give you a great opportunity to learn many things about Jose Marti that you probably never had a chance to learn because you grew up in the United States. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. We have everything on YouTube. We have them on Twitter. We have them on my blog. And if you're having a birthday today, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye, everybody.